Hello and good evening all. I haven't updated this channel in like 2 years. I didn't really think I had much to say, which in those 2 years I really didn't, other than being obsessed over the bullcrap that's going on in mainstream media and getting all caught up with that. But a lot has happened over the last year, or a year and a half, how long that's been, since that big solar eclipse that happened across the country. I've had some interesting dreams. A lot of people have. A lot of us black, melanated, um, cosmic beings, whatever we choose to call ourselves, Moors, Hebrew, Israelites, we've had some interesting energy come our way. We've had some interesting dreams. So I figured if I'm going to update the channel, I'm going to start off with my dreams. So let's start with dream number one. Or not number one, well, number one in this series. The last dream I had was talking about mind control, and that was one that I recorded 2 years ago, but I had the dream many, over a decade ago. This dream, so the next two dreams I'm talking about happened within the last 9 months. They happened basically last summer. So I noticed that a lot of people, after I had these dreams, I went onto YouTube, noticed that a lot of people are having destruction dreams. But it only seems like our people, are having separation dreams. I notice that a lot of black people on YouTube coming on talking about dreams of separation. And so I find that very interesting. So the dream that I had was, the first dream I had was this dream where I'm a sewer, so I have lots of fabric. I am wearing an outfit, I think it's a suit, made out of this fabric I have yet to cut into other than to make a sample swatch, meaning I've never made any clothes with it. I've yet to utilize it. I love the fabric. It's a pretty color, pretty fabric, and I made a suit out of it apparently. But my dream was I was coming into the neighborhood that I work in, but I was flying. And so I had this dream that I'm flying and I was starting to land. And this is when the dream turned lucid. Well, sorry, I was starting to land, and there was these two little white boys, and they threw this branch up at me, and it landed on my arm. And it wasn't a big branch; it's probably like 10 inches long, maybe an inch round, and very lightweight, like the wind had blown it, during a storm or something. And they tossed it up to me, and it landed on my arm, and I just brushed it off and laughed. And I was about to land, and that's when the dream turned lucid, and I'm like, I don't want to land. So I flew back up. Now, if anyone's ever had flying dreams, one of the things you'll notice of you flying, not in an airplane or whatnot, butterflies in your stomach, I had those in real life. So I had these butterflies in my stomach, and because I'm like, no, I'm not going to land, I'm going to fly up. So I went flying around, and then about 4 blocks away from where I was going to land, where these little boys are, I land on the sidewalk. And there's lots of people around, mostly Asians. But the area this particular area is a college area. And yeah, there's a lot of Asians there, but there's also more white people. And so I was kind of put off by the fact that where did all the white people go? Why aren't they there? But it didn't bother me at all because I'm just like, okay, well, whatever. And what I found very interesting is that when I was flying, I felt like I was going to this planet and I was a tourist, or I was going somewhere as a tourist. It was a place I didn't live. So that would be the next dream I had, or the first dream of last summer, spring, summer, but the second dream since I posted the one 2 years ago. And then after that dream, about a month or so later, I had another dream where I was in India and I was shopping for fabric, which of course for me that would be an ideal thing. But it's once again, I was a tourist, which I'm not from India, so yeah, I would be a tourist. But it was like I didn't even belong here. I was not just a tourist. I was a tourist to some far off land that I didn't belong. And It was as though I was coming down into this land, down into India, down onto this planet. Maybe it's a dream of, going to a different plane of existence. Maybe we will be separated out, but that would be the first dream I had, which when you hear the next one, or the first two dreams, when you hear this third one, this is the one that's really the bizarre kicker. So, of these dreams that I had last summer, the next dream, the third dream I had in the summer, was our separation. So, there was the ocean, the land next to the ocean. No, the land next to the ocean. There's the ocean, the sea, the coastline, the land next to the ocean, and then the mountains, right? And that's how it is on the West Coast. There's a lot of mountains on the West Coast. And so if you lived on the coast, you lived in the coastal lands. And then the land next to the ocean is probably about a good 100 miles away from the coast, inland. And then from 100 miles to within 200 miles of the mountains that's the land by the ocean. Don't ask me why. This is just my dream. Really weird. So I'm near this refugee camp, or I'm in this refugee camp. I don't know why I'm there or what's going on, but I get onto this train. And yes, it's a lot like that Netflix movie, Extinction, but this is kind of weird. So I get on this train, and then I had to get off the train. And so I get off the train because I forgot something. The train goes into the mountain, just like that movie. Then all of a sudden, I'm well above the mountain. Okay, it's almost like I'm on an observation deck, but I'm standing up and I'm looking out these windows and I see one of the mountains. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so I'm seeing what I think is Mount Rainier. It could have been Mount St. Helens. It could have been any of the mountains. But I'm in the Pacific Northwest and I'm looking at the mountain. But then there's this television screen at this observation deck as well. So I'm looking out the window and I'm watching TV. And so I'm looking over at the TV while I'm kind of looking, back and forth. And this woman, and it's one of those TVs that it's hanging down. So you can look at both, right? And the newscaster is this bubble-headed blonde chick with a bouffant. And she's really, really animated. She's really, really excited. And I'm like, why are they so excited? Because we can't hear the volume on the TV. But this woman's going nuts. She's so excited. And she's, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And you can see that's what she's saying because you can't hear it. Then all of a sudden, this DEW comes down. Now, if you don't know what that means, it's a direct energy weapon. So this blue beam comes down onto the mountain explodes. And it's not like just boom, it's done. It's like this ripple effect. And the woman who's on the newscaster is so angry. She's like, oh my God, oh my God. And she's la 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 la, but the big fake smile. And I'm watching this. I'm like, what is going on? This mountain's being destroyed. And it's rumbling across like you would see in the nuke videos, the mushroom cloud and then the rumbling of the destruction. And I'm looking back and forth at this rumbling happening, and I'm looking at the newscaster, and then the newscaster's eyes get really, really wide and big, and then it cuts out. And it's just static. And so basically I was saved because I didn't get on the train to the mountain. And so basically the people who were on the mountain range and anyone who was basically within about 500 miles of this mountain was basically evaporated. They all died. So if you're near the coast water or a little bit inward, a few hundred miles, the land by the coast, you were safe. And so that was the third dream I had. Now, common sense would say that this dream should have happened before the me flying dream. But it was a dream of separation. Destruction and separation. I was suddenly at this observation deck, which I'm just assuming was a UFO, a swinging low, sweet chariot. I was picked up. And so it was very interesting that happened. So I've had, just like a lot of people, I've had destruction dreams, but I've also had this dream where well, two dreams actually, that Black people were separated out. This last one I told you, and then the original dream that I posted here 2 years ago. The first